When we talk about the roles and responsibilities, there's different belt levels in Lean Six Sigma. And the idea here is to improve our process. But different belt levels are going to represent different competencies. And so the roles and responsibilities in Lean Six Sigma are vary. And I'm going to break this down in this lesson. So when we think about not getting sued by George Lucas, our processes and people, I want to apply it to Star Wars because I think it's a pretty universal thing at this point. But, your white belts, these are going to be individuals that have that fundamental understanding of lean principles, and they report significant process errors to green belts or black belts. Your yellow belts have a basic understanding of Lean Six Sigma vocabulary and how to do basic process tools. Your green belts are going to manage Lean Six Sigma project teams and report problems to black belts. I want to keep it known that green belts usually have smaller project teams. Advanced Lean Six Sigma methodologies and the components and leading these strategic workforces or continuous improvement efforts is usually what black belts are there for. They teach, mentor, and coach Lean Six Sigma projects. As your role as a Six Sigma professional, your job is kind of knowing and being aware of Lean Six Sigma, but how can you utilize it to best serve you? And your organization. Look, man, for me to know the difference here, I want to just kind of have a little bit of a powwow. I believe that there is a huge difference between a leader and a manager. Oftentimes, I will say this, that sometimes there is no difference in the military. That sometimes they just become managers by aspects because it's very hard to change that process, right? A leader is someone who's going to go above and beyond for their team and make process changes. That manager is going to be okay with the status quo. And there's pros and cons on each side. But for me, if I'm going to hire you, I want somebody that's a leader. I can find a robot to manage the process. I want to find somebody that can instill that change management philosophy in people. That, okay, the numbers are going to add up at the end of the day. Now, I'm considered a master black belt facilitator, but I started out as a master black belt. But essentially, that master black belt is going to have very, very in-depth knowledge of Lean Six Sigma. And they're a change agent in an organization. They're looking at it from that 30,000-foot view and reducing waste. And they're experienced in guiding teams. That Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt is going to be well diverse and kind of leading project teams. So your frontline, your tech or leads, your middle management, that supervisory role, and the executive role. This is something I think is, it may not be the body of knowledge standpoint, but after years of experience in this is what I typically associate these levels as. So I have a little bit of a case study for us, and I want us to kind of think about this, and we'll kind of go through. But how would you save Toys R Us? What are you going to do if we go back in a time machine or a crystal ball? How can we see and change Toys R Us's approach? There was a slow decline of Toys R Us, right? Reducing that profitability, reducing their revenue, and overall, the company filed bankruptcy in 2017. Now, we are somewhere right here, 2010 to 2011 is where our time machine put us. You guys are going to work in, we'll do that, teams of 4. But I want you to have a sales pitch on what is your strategy to rebuild Toys R Us. I'm going to give you about 20 minutes, but I want you to work together as a team, and I want you to come up with ideas to improve the process. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys unmute, and I want you to work together. I might actually just put it as the whole class. I don't want people sitting in the sidelines, though. If you don't participate, I'll just kick you out of the class. So make sure that you're participating in the group discussion. But what would be your strategy? I'm going to give you guys 20 minutes, and I want you to work on it together as a team. I said 4 people, but we have 8 people in this class altogether. Let's just do it together. What would be your strategy to recover? And we're going to have 20 minutes, and the time starts now.
Hello? Does anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Is my mic working?
All right. So one of the I'll kind of jump in here for a second. So one of the things that we was kind of mentioned about before was obviously how technology and everything has kind of changed and moved along the lines. And you can see that from was like 2012-ish to 2017. That was when the decline really starting for Toys R Us. I think one of the strategies would be online sales and trying to boost that, trying to create a better site, a better shipping method, kind of compete with the likes of like Amazon. That'd be kind of my first thought process of where we'd go from there.
I was actually thinking the exact same thing. So you guys know what happened between like Blockbuster and Netflix? How like Netflix beat Blockbuster with the idea of getting things online, and Blockbuster never made it that far, and they just get swept under the rug real quick by Netflix. I think it's absolutely the same strategy right there, is moving to a global, potentially global.
Yes, that sounds good and all, but like in previous slides, it was mentioned about the voice of the customer. So maybe around that time frame that we're looking at, we can look at what the voice of the customer was looking for. Such as, yes, Amazon did come out, but then we also had the new PlayStations, the Oculuses, and everything that was coming out. We could look at what the voice of the customer at that period was, so we could get a better idea and hopefully recover.
Yeah, so sorry. Were you saying, Mr. Ramirez? Were you saying like more technology-based sales? Because Toys R Us is like physical toys you hold on to and stuff like that. I know they had like the technology side of PlayStation, Xbox, and stuff like that. I don't think it was nearly as big. So you're saying look more into expanding that section of the company?
Yes, sir. Because essentially, for example, myself, back when I was in grade school, my parents used to take me to Toys R Us for the experience. Taking your kid to Toys R Us for the experience was amazing. So if they were to expand on those sides with this with the children coming up, looking at the technology side, they could boost your sales there and still promote the new toys like the new Power Rangers, the new He-Man that just came out, and all those other toys by expanding that. And eventually, going onto the internet and expanding, kind of like one of y'all mentioned Amazon, expanding like Amazon did with the various online shopping categories like the Amazon warehouse, and yeah, essentially like that. Yes.
Okay, very cool.
So I'm reading one of the biggest business problems is that sales in every category weren't able to rapidly shift to online, and that's one of the dominating factors of why it failed, especially in the pandemic. Like, if you're only selling things physically, and something happens like that global pandemic, you're kind of screwed. So that's what I was talking about when I said not not necessarily going towards like toys geared towards more technology based, but as a business getting more technology based, being able to reach customers more than just in store purchasing, because that phased out a long time ago.
So I had the pleasure of being stationed over in Sasebo, Japan for the past 3 years, and I just got back to the States.
Oh, me too. That's funny.
And in Japan, they have Toys R Us everywhere.
Yeah.
We like, but I used to take my kids to the Toys R Us over at the Ginza shopping center, and the way they are structured in Japan is way different to how Toys R Us here in the United States was structured.
Yeah, they're online.
They not only that, but it's like it's a whole different. It's the same store, but the business model is completely different.
Absolutely. I can go online right now and order something to my house. I live in Japan right now. I was 3 years in Sasebo, and now I'm on my third year in Misawa, Japan. So I've been here for almost 7 years. And,
yeah, I try to get orders.
Here.
I try to get orders from the store, but
yeah, this place is great. So 7 years in Japan, and Toys R Us is completely online here. You can go to the store, but Japan, where their business strategies are really smart, is everything is convenient. Convenience is the Japan strength, and anything you can buy online now.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear me clearly. I'm using the laptop microphone.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, I think this company failed. So they have the physical store, and think about Walmart. Walmart's still physical store, and they're good, right? Because there's something that you need to buy it. Walmart is there, and you can buy it right there at that moment, and within like just instantly. If you buy something online, you still need to wait, right? Also, Walmart do price match. But for the toys, there's really no reason that the people are just gonna go online and buy the cheapest option, and there's no urgency that I need this toy right now at this moment, And also, what can make them survive is if they can sell services. That's not replaceable by online. I think we need just more information on why they filed bankruptcy, and where is the decline? What's the cause? Yeah.
Yeah, I see your point. So, like, if Toys R Us were to reanalyze the budget of the customer, and possibly jump on board with like Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus. I mean, it's all electronics, but essentially it targets a lot of youth, and toys target youth as well. So they could have possibly put them together and not have to go into bankruptcy back in 2010.
Yeah, what's the voice of the customer? Like when you go to this store, like what are we expecting? Let's say I have a kid. What's the voice of the customer?
That's something we got to ask the customers. People with kids, like what makes you go to a different store besides Toys R Us? Well, what's the difference there? I don't have kids, so I have no idea. And that's something I have to research and ask surveys and ask questions.
Yeah, I think somebody touched on it before. You know, with these type of stores, people are looking for the cheapest thing nowadays. And back then, you know, looking for I need something that's cheap for my kid to play with. Sometimes they don't care if it breaks right away or not. So I don't know if that's something that Toys R Us looked at was, you know, reducing costs of their products and finding a better place to get them from. You know, China's very dominant in the toy industry. I don't know if they weren't only getting toys from there, if they're getting, you know, toys from other countries that cost more. Shipping was more, stuff like that would be a big issue also.
All right, so what are we thinking? What's our
Cost of products.
sales pitch to rebuild Toys R Us?
There's sadly from what it sounds like, there were a lot of issues that seem like that, you know, without knowing more about it, online sales, the shipping, you know, for that, expand technology side, you know, utilizing like PlayStation Plus, Xbox, not only in store but online stuff, using technology to boost sales of some sort, the convenience factor, the cost of products to the member, to the customers.
Maybe create a new product. What I mean by create a new product is maybe they can create a kitchen in there to provide a kids meal while the kids are eating in there, and then they can play with toys, and then they can create a membership. Go to that approach to create more service and product rather than just sell toys. Yeah.
So
More
we have to increase the types of services, and that could be like, was it Ramirez? Like it's like you said earlier, expand our services to more than just toys, and that be including like gaming, online stuff, wider range, and then also expanding it to a global market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would essentially bring in more profit, but also we got to take a look at 2011. Because from 2010 2011 there was a drop. So what happened? What came out within those years that started to cause that drop?
Yeah, that's a good question. Back in 2008 is when we had, you know, one of the huge recession, right? When the market fell and everything, but we didn't see a decline then. So I don't know historically what happened between 2012 and 2017 with the economy where it collapsed either.
No, so those years after those years, a lot of the businesses that fell under are the ones that weren't able to migrate to global online marketing.
Yes.
I did a couple of economic studies, and as an investor, those early 2000s into the middle 2000s, a lot of those companies failed because they were unable to, or they just straight up didn't think it was a good idea to migrate, to change their business strategy to outside of just physical contact. I made the Blockbuster example because that was one of the biggest companies that failed, only because it was stubborn. It refused to change its strategy, and it was as simple as going online.
Yep.
And that's why Netflix exploded. Right? That's why it was so successful.
Yeah. Get that
and was a great investment. It was a fantastic investment.
Utilizing the digital age to be cheaper and more convenient is huge nowadays.
Absolutely. So that's what happened in the early 2000s with a lot of businesses, is the failure to readjust strategy to meet a bigger market. That happened with banks too. banks that didn't have online services, yeah, they fell.
One thing that's also big nowadays is rewards programs. I don't know if I was never part of like a Toys R Us. I don't know if they had a rewards program or anything. You know, collecting points or anything like that, cashback.
Right now, I'm reading it right now, and it says that's actually their plan. Their plan. The parent company that owns Toys R Us, their plan is to expand through a flagship programs and stores via air, land, and sea. So and flagship, that's like what you're saying. It's that looks like that's the direction they're headed. And this was, I read a couple articles already just while we're talking, but I read 3 articles within the past year that say the same thing.
Okay, so kind of what I got was kind of big takeaways. Migrating to global online sales, which means changing our business strategy, utilizing the technology to improve cost of products and convenience to the customer.
Yeah, and then maybe offering more services.
And then offering more services. Okay, increased type services. Okay.
Great varieties.
Yeah.
We can have to create varieties. Like people can buy toys from Walmart, Target. Those places can offer other stuff. Like the parents bring kids to grocery shop in Walmart, they can just buy a toy there.
Very true.
And what's the reason to go to a toy store only?
If anyone wants a toy now, I'm just gonna go to Amazon.
There's not much benefit of just go to one store for toy. You can go to like Walmart, one store for toy and other stuff. More efficient.
You know, that's why Amazon is so popular, because also the return policy. Like you can easily return things. You know, they send you the label and everything, put it back in the box, and take it to a UPS store, and voila, you're done.
Or like Costco, you take it to the store without a receipt because the receipt's already on your membership card.
Take a couch back 3 years later.
Yeah. This was good customer service.
But then also, if we can look at what was going on inside Toys R Us, like, because right now we're talking about toys, but you know, earlier in the slides I was talking about the turning over, the employees and the employers, about the staff. We can look at that, see how that may increase more of the profit.
Hey, boy, what are you doing?
Obviously, you know, closing down brick and mortars and reducing.
Just sitting in class.
Always going to
wait.
money, but
what
that's only I'm plan. Like,
just kind of waiting on Mark to show up.
Online sales and using technology to get on track somehow.
Well, I figured at the end of the day, what's the worst that could happen? They wreck the car. I don't have to pay for it anymore. Well, and so I don't know how they fucked this up, but I said 9 o'clock.
It don't surprise me.
That's why.
Surprise me. Have you tasted?
No, I'm not going to. Or it's kind of like a way to shame them.
Well, it might be a way to put them in their place. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just gonna be like, guys, like, you know, I got multiple projects for you to do.
Did they how much did they get done yesterday?
About half of the signing. I don't know why it took them so long, but I think it's because, see, Mark told me, he said, look, sometimes I get really scared about messing up other people's stuff, so I just go as slow as I can to make sure it's as best as possible. And I was like, okay, well, just make sure you ain't milking me. And he laughed.
Well, look, two guys did my 20 by 20 building over here. in less than 3 hours.
The whole building?
The whole building.
What, siding it?
Yeah. It didn't have a bit of siding on it.
Well, I think what's going on is they're dividing, and instead of working together and getting it done faster, he's trying to have him cut pieces and go on the side, when literally they could just work together on one side, get it done faster, and then do it that way.
Yeah, well. Okay, well, you handle it, okay? You the one paying the high dollar people.
What? Ain't no high dollar people. What? How's your day going?
Man, I don't know what happened. I got sick of something. My throat started closing up. Had a sore throat. My ears are hurting real bad. I don't know what's going on.
Damn.
Might be allergic tomorrow. I don't know.
You might be allergic to something.
I'm starting to feel a little bit better now. So.
I'm glad. You're feeling better.
I'll take better when I start to chat with you.
Man.
I'll talk to you a little later, okay?
Yeah, no problem. What should I do? Should I call him or just wait?
You know, you told them 9 o'clock. There should be no reason in God's creation why they're not here. So, yeah, I would be calling them. I mean, they got your vehicle, man. Ain't no telling what they're doing with your vehicle. That's what I'm saying. He asked me yesterday about borrowing my car. No. I just ain't got that much trust in them. I really don't. There ain't no telling what they're doing.
I mean, I didn't really. I don't know. Maybe I wanted to try to extend an olive branch to Mark and say, you know what? I trust you. Don't do anything wrong, and you're gonna keep on. Cause like, I ain't got time for this like back and forth shit, you know. And if I'm giving you a job and I'm giving you my vehicle, there's no reason.
Well, how about this right here? Just wait and see how long it does take them to get here.
Yep.
And then see if that olive branch gets broke.
Well, you know, I mean, I know what probably happened is they got excited about having a vehicle, and they probably had like a million different things in Farmville to go pick up. Hopefully they didn't get arrested. I figured he'd call you if he did.
I don't know if they would or not.
He probably flipped it.
Look, I wouldn't even get his brother out of jail. What are they gonna call me for?
That's true. All right, well, let me get back in class, all right?